Hello again. It's Rudy G. Funk, and it's on the eve of the fourth preseason game by the Cleveland Browns. And just kind of do a little review of the last game, which I very much enjoyed. And I hope you guys did too. It's a very great defensive game between what looks to be two very good defenses. We'll get to the offense later. A lot of good stuff. I mean, they look faster. I'm talking about the Browns, obviously. The Eagles look fast already, because were very good last year. Not that ours weren't, but you could kind of see them starting to conform as a unit, them getting up to speed, and I mean both Sashi's picks and Dorsey's picks. These guys playing together, having the same coach. They're buying it. They're getting quicker. They're getting to the ball better. They're doing a lot of great stuff that does take time. And I'm going to keep referring to Sashi and Dorsey because our guys are still there despite, some people not liking Sashi and giving him shit by some of his picks. It was a really fun game to watch if you like defensive games. And there's been a couple of these games. You had the Jags and who the hell was it? The Vikings game. It was another pretty good game to watch. Very good defensive games, and the offense is not really doing too much. Nick Foles, kind of looked a little surprised. I don't know if it was just the Browns' reputation that preceded them a little bit to him. I mean, mentally, maybe he wasn't prepared. It looked like a lot of his throws were not just slow mentally, but, like he wasn't really putting much into it. A lot of slow balls. So Nick Foles had slow balls. But it didn't look like he was overwhelmed. So I don't want to just go totally total mental on Nick Foles because he's a good quarterback. I just think he was just a little shocked that maybe our defense was about as fast as their defense was. He probably, in camp and all that shit, he's playing against a pretty good defense. Maybe he was a little shocked that ours was almost as quick or as quick. It's hard to really gauge because obviously they're not on the field competing against each other, and I'm referring to the Eagles' defense and our defense. So, but he seemed not overwhelmed, but every time he made a mistake or threw a weak ball, to the sidelines, it just seemed like he was kind of aghast, like, oh, Jesus Christ, what the fuck am I doing out here, But, and I don't want to sit here and cut on Nick Foles. I just kind of thought, I kept thinking he's going to do better the next time, and it appeared like he thought he was going to keep doing better the next time, and our defense just 0 points. They took, and I know it's preseason, and the water is always muddy in preseason. Everybody always says can't stand preseason because nobody really plays in preseason. Every time I watch a preseason game, I see guys playing. I don't see as much lollygagging around as the non-preseason watcher guys claim to. They're playing ball out there. They're getting hurt. They're real games that don't count, basically, as far as I'm concerned. And any chance the guys get to watch the Browns, I love it. I'll take it. So, with that point being said, anybody that says they want less football and they're a football fan, I just don't fucking buy it, man. That we should get rid of preseason or, football's just the fucking best game. It's just the best game. I got a son that's a wrestler and I love wrestling. I love boxing. I got all kinds of shit that I like. I like MMA, it's all great stuff, but football's just the best motherfucker. Football's just the best sport. You know, I just get really excited. You know, and it's a personal opinion of mine, but when I hear less football, you know, I just kind of cringe, you know. But okay, we were talking about Nick Foles and our defense up against our defense. I wanted to kind of go with our offense, which, you know, didn't really do much. You know, the defense got the 2 points, which is, you know, great that we scored on defense against a pretty productive offense. You know, back on Nick Foles, I think he was just kind of, you know, a little bit of shock and awe that our defense was so fast, and we were, you know, why anybody would be, you know, I don't understand. You know, Myles Garrett's going to get back there. He's going to stay back there. So, but it did happen. We did see that. You know, now were they lackadaisical? You know, I didn't really see that. I don't see that a lot in preseason as much as I think, you know, and maybe I'm just an idiot. I don't know. But there's guys getting hurt. You know, you got all kinds of stuff that happens in preseason. This is a lot of the reason people don't want to do preseason. But, you know, people get hurt in practice. They get hurt in training. You know, pianos fall on them. You know, and look at Kendrick got cut today, you know, and do you know how? You know, was he kneeling for the anthem? Was he, you know, did he forget to wear his pink gloves to support breast cancer? You know, how did he get cut? You know, did he get concussed? Did he get hurt? You know, insider trading. Are you fucking kidding me? And, you know, because I'm an idiot, I'm thinking insider trading. You know, was he betting on? Was it a Pete Rose thing? Is he betting on a game? What the fuck are they talking about, insider trading? And here, it's the stock market, you know? He got caught for insider trading in the fucking stock market. Are you kidding me? You know? And I don't want to do only the Browns thing, but, you know, when I say, you know, I joke in some of my other videos about a piano falling on somebody. And, you know, here comes that fucking piano, you know? Jesus Christ, insider trading, you know? If only Carl Nassib would have got to him fucking sooner, right? Told him that that's wrong, you're not allowed to do that, you know? But, or maybe Carl could be tied into this somehow, you know? Maybe Carl was helping him, you know? I don't know. Anyway, I need some more truth serum. Excuse me. On Carl Nassib, you know, on the Buffalo Bills preseason game that we played prior to this, I noticed nobody noticed that Josh Allen got sacked by, I think it was a corner or a safety, something like that. And it took him about 5 seconds to get Josh Allen down because he's this big fucking, you know, 6'5" monster. And a play or two later, I noticed that Carl Nassib threw him down with one hand, which a little bit of a momentum thing where Josh Allen was kind of trying to make his way through the middle of the line and Nassib caught him. But he did throw him down with one hand, and Josh Allen was on the ground and Carl Nassib was still standing. My little gay little stand isn't fucking working so good. Pardon me. So I didn't hear one word, you know, once again, I claim that I don't hear everything. I can't just listen to Cleveland Browns media all day. I try to get as much as I can. I try to soak it as much as I can. You know, I try to watch Crazy Dog when I can. You know, maybe he'll say something informative, you know. But I didn't hear one person talk about how he took Josh Allen down with one hand and the power it would probably take for that to manifest. And God, I don't want to say this because they still ignore, and maybe this is my point, they still ignore Carl Nassib as if he might be cut. And I don't know if it's like it's a Sashi affiliation thing, you know, it's just kind of everybody. Everybody just kind of ignores Carl Nassib as like, well, he's just, you know, like he's almost like he's bottom of the barrel, like he's not this great player that I think he is, you know. And he's going to be even better this year as this relief man, this go-to guy whenever Greg package, whatever he might be packaging at the time. Maybe we don't see Carl as much, but because the competition's getting better, with Ogunjobi, a lot of great stuff on the defensive line, and we're deep, linebackers, because they kind of seem to be going, he's almost like this half-breed end rusher. He'll go in the middle. Sometimes they kind of got like a linebacker touch to him, in some of the stuff they're doing with him. And I'm not going to keep going on about Carl Nassib, obviously. I like the guy. I want him to be on our team. I want him to stay a Browns forever. I hope he fucking retires here. Because I don't want anybody else to have him. So, pardon me, I was occupied for a second. Our offense. Once again, I labeled, I think, the first or second preseason, with the muddy waters. And the Philadelphia Eagles defense is probably top three, if not one. 1, 2, or 3. I mean, who knows how that's going to manifest as the year goes on. But they're a very good defense. And how we perform against that, they got a lot of slack as if our offense is impotent in a certain sense. And they kind of take this game and try to, once again, kind of muddy the waters with, our offense isn't really doing too much. And the Eagles are a very good defense. And we're not going to play the Eagles for 16 games, And I'm not cutting on every other team or anything like that, but we're not going to be seeing this defense every time, and there's going to be some holes there in defenses as the year comes to fruition. So our offense shouldn't be as bad as you might have thought it looked in that game. So kind of back on some of the other videos I made about healing. You really need to appraise this for what it is, because if you don't, you're going to be that volatile fan, that I kind of find annoying, where, kind of like what they did with Sam Darnold, where, Sam Darnold's the greatest quarterback ever, and then he plays another preseason game, and he has a bad game, and everybody goes, oh my God, you can't have him on the field, he's terrible, oh geez, he's a rookie, Next game he plays good, and everybody's right up back on the, I mean, you really need to start, as fans, I think we really need to start moderating our, how can I say that? Our reactions to what happens. I think we got to do a better appraisal of what's actually going on. And I think Cleveland is one of the worst at it. The volatility of a Cleveland fan, And that's some of the reason I wanted to do this in the first place, was to try and, even that out a little bit. Get more of a upward trend instead of like this, the old 2001 NASDAQ stock market, Because it's not good for you, for one thing, And my dad's kind of guilty of this too, He's like intra-game, which is great because, hopefully, I don't know what the specifics are, but, me and the Stumbler and A-Dog, we're going to try and do a live podcast while the game's going on, the Pittsburgh game. That should be really fun to do. So anybody that watches this, if you want to tune in, maybe while you're watching the game and comment and stuff as you're seeing what you're seeing and hearing our comments as the game's, coming to fruition. But I digress because I'm smart. And smart people digress. Back on the offense. A lot of drama, with the Tyrod Taylor hurting his pinky or wrist or both. They said pinky or something like that, but it looked like he hurt his wrist too. Is the injury bigger than what they're saying? Probably, but it is his non-throwing hand. So here we go with the muddy waters again. And, the dude doesn't want to lose his job. If he could play, he sprints out there. He wants to do his stuff. And Hugh couldn't wait. He marches him right back out there to, show Baker that he's the number one quarterback. And you got the Baker side of it. Baker can't wait to march out there and take the dude's job from him, which is, it's still good stuff that's going on here. Just, some of my friends and I, we talk about Hugh, the immediate announcement that Tyrod Taylor is going to be the number one quarterback, that Baker's going to be the backup or third string, at the beginning of the year. And it's annoying, because Tyrod hasn't even taken a snap in Cleveland yet, and he's got a new offense to make. And we got Todd Haley, who's a new offensive coordinator. There's so much new stuff going on, and automatically right out of nowhere, he just announces that he's going to be the starting quarterback because of what he had done with Buffalo. So I'm totally sympathetic for the fans that don't like that, don't approve of that, because I was kind of the same way when I first heard, like, oh, here we go again, or at least he's not doing what he did the first year. I'm talking about his first year where he said there was a competition, but there wasn't. I'm talking about RG3, McClown, and Cody, where RG3 was getting all the first string snaps. McClown was getting all the second string, and Cody was like walking Hugh's dog or something like that. I can't remember exactly what he was doing, but there's a little bit more truthful in this announcement with the quarterbacks. Excuse me, I need some more truth serum. So, I really don't want to sit here and try to annihilate Hugh on the decision he makes or anything like that. I don't want this to be this, because you kind of half-ass hear it every day in the media and stuff like that. But just trying to appraise the situation for what it is, trying to be logical. And, I'm a dumbass too, so I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy in the room or anything, but, it is a little annoying that he kind of did that right off the bat. And, it doesn't seem like there's no real competition. Tyrod's the guy, Baker's the second or third, whatever they decide is the smart thing to do for him. But, and I don't want to sit here and cut on Drew Stratton either, but, 20 touchdowns and 24. I hate to harp on that, but, oh, for God's sakes. But, that's just huge to me. What is that? What do you think of when you fucking half-ass shit? Oh, for God's sakes. When you hear 20 and 24, do you think, well, 20, sorry about that, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Do you think, wow, he had 20 touchdowns, that's, 6 more than Tyrod Taylor, so he's got more experience or something, but then you hear 24 interceptions, and that's not productive. It's just not productive. And I know games were won. Probably some pretty good teams compared to the Browns, And this is why I like analytics, because I really believe that you can get rid of a lot of this shit with analytics. Is Drew Stanton a good backup? Probably. Do you want him playing whole games? No. No, you do not want him playing whole games. If Tyrod, has another injury, do I want Drew Stanton in there to play a whole game? No. I want him to play a quarter, let Baker get his head together or something. I mean, at the maximum. I don't want him finishing games. He's probably not going to finish games for you. Baker probably will. He's been finishing games since high school. The thought that we need to save the Bake Man from himself somehow is a little ridiculous, Drew Stanton is not as good as Baker Mayfield. He's just not. You know, he hasn't thrown as many completions as Baker has, despite his experience. You know, and I mean good. You know, solid completions. You know, if you are throwing 24 interceptions, I guess that's my truth serum working against me. If you're throwing 24 interceptions to your 20 touchdowns, you're losing the game for your team. You're not winning that, you know? When I was listening to Trebe Talks, which he does a Jaguars breakdown because I like to see how Cody's doing. And he mentions how Bortles struggling a little bit in preseason here because he's throwing interceptions, you know? And he talks about how his reception ratio is really good, except for those interceptions. It's true, you know. When Ben Roethlisberger throws 3 interceptions in a game, he'll throw 5 touchdowns, and that keeps his numerical value, you know, his quarterback rating up. So even though he throws 2 or 3 interceptions and he throws 5 touchdowns, you see where those numbers still stay, you know, 90 to 100. You know, that's what good quarterbacks do. You know, they don't show up like Josh McCown in the second half of a Ravens game because you pulled your rookie quarterback because he wasn't throwing downfield. And you throw 2 or 3 interceptions, you got a quarterback rating of 19 because you haven't scored. You know, that's bad quarterback play. That's Drew Stanton, you know. And I don't want to, well, I already did, I guess, rant again against Drew Stanton. But, you know, as a Browns fans, you know, I guess I, you know, get a little rant in me every once in a while. So how much of Drew Stanton do I want to see? I don't want to see much of him at all, you know. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm sure the dude's a great guy. And I'm sure he helps with quarterbacking management or something like that on the sidelines. It's going to help him get the huddle quicker, and he's going to do all kinds of Josh McCown stuff that experience and, you know, little tidbits on how to be a little more efficient when you're, you know, when you're up at the line. What do you see? You know, stuff like that. Do I want Drew Stanton on the field? No, I don't. And if there's any serious amount of time that I see him, I think it's going to be that third tier that's going to drop for me and Hugh, I think, where I'm going to be, okay, well, that's it. I'm not going to relax on my opinion of him anymore, you know. And what does that mean? Who, you know, fucking cares? You know, what is like fucking 5 guys watching this or something? But, you know, I'm not any guru and by any means or CEO or whisperer. But that's kind of my take on that last game. I really liked watching it. I watched it again. You know, YouTube, thank God, you know, supplies me with a free watch again, you know, because I don't buy shit because I'm a cheap ass. But last but not least, as far as I see, I want to see at least 4 wins. And I know that's lowballing. I get it. Everything's been so hyped up with Tyrod and Baker. He's the number 1 pick, you know. I want to see at least 4 wins. Now, I'm not going to go the other way either and say, well, that's 400% of the games we didn't, you know, because you're 0-16, you know, everything's better. One's better, you know, I get it. I want to see a lot of efficient quarterbacking, and I want to see a defense that kicks ass, you know. And this will probably manifest as one next year, you know. So I'm not totally against, you know, Tyrod starting or anything like that, and see how this goes. If he can keep the Bakeman out for most of the year or whatever, and then eventually putting Bakeman in or whatever, depending on what happens. So surprisingly, I'm a little comfortable with how things are going, despite everything I've said. Um, I'm thinking 4 wins this year. And I know it's lowballing. I get it. And you're going to think I'm a fucking jerk because of all the hype that's been going on here. But you got the Josh Gordon thing, you got the Callaway thing, got pianos falling on guys. It's typical Brown stuff, and it has to be a slow, fundamental build. And the defense is solidifying right now, and I think we have to recognize that our foundation is there. It's there already. And as long as Tyrod and the Bake Man and hopefully Drew Stanton, if they take care of the ball, we're on the start of something. The seed of great football is being planted. And kind of like I said in some of the other videos, if you're still watching, it's a 3 to 5 year plan. They keep saying 3 years, because they do the not Dick Butkus. What's the other? The Bears. Give me 3 years. It's going to take a little bit longer for the Browns, and I think we have to try to recognize that we're not going to go out there and make the playoffs, and I'm not just trying to lowball. I'm not trying to get fucking totally pissed off this year because they don't win a bunch of games. I want to see fundamental football. That's all I need to see. I don't want to see Kaiser throw out there because it's going to sell more tickets. I don't want to see that dumb shit anymore. I want fundamental football. So that's kind of my last rant, and I know I probably ranted a little bit more on this one, but, it's probably going to get worse. So as the season progresses. So, hey, I'm Rudy G. Funk. God bless you all. Peace.